I'm tired of my earbuds not doing their job. They cost $200 and yet they just slide out of my ears at the gym, or I get that weird tickle feeling after a couple minutes, or I'm on a plane and the seal suddenly breaks and I'm getting blasted by jet engines directly in my ear holes. Why can't the earbuds just do their job and stay where they're supposed to? Well, I think I finally found a solution. Clip-on earbuds. Up until now, I thought I had tried it all. Between IEMs, true wireless, and even open earbuds. Yet none of them felt quite right. Turns out my answer was dangling right in my face the whole time. Now, clip-on earbuds are nothing new. Bose came up with them in early 2024 with their ultra open earbuds, retailing for a whopping $299. But now there's more affordable ones like the Tozos for $30 or the cute pill ones from Moondrop. They're a subcategory of open earbuds, while are great in theory, have loads of problems with poor bass, inconsistent sound quality, and a strange fit like these donut ones or these around the ear ones, and now clip-ons. So in this video, I'm testing a new pair of clip-on earbuds that are supposed to solve many, if not all, of those problems. With that being said, these are not the end-all be-all only pair of earbuds you should own if you want a hi-fi listening experience, ANC, or good travel earbuds. Let's just say open earbuds will never work for that. But if you're living a busy life or you want to be aware of your surroundings, these could be the ones. These are the new Sony LinkBuds Clip, which retail for $230, which while being a hefty price tag are actually on par with other premium offerings on the market. So are these silly little earbuds actually as game-changing as they say, or are they going straight into the storage bin after a couple weeks? And as someone who's never tried clip-on earbuds before, there were so many questions running through my head, like how good do these sound? Are they even comfortable? And how do you put them on? As a side note, Sony did send these over as an early unit for testing, but they did not sponsor this video. So before we can answer any of those questions, let's get these unboxed. Like most earbuds nowadays, I'm not expecting much, especially since the box is so tiny. These are the green versions, but they also come in lavender, cream, and black. Those probably aren't the official names, but they're accurate descriptors. Sony's opted for all recyclable packaging, which is neato. Once you're done unboxing it, you can chuck it into the blue bin and move on with your life. The box itself has the charging case, the earbuds in them, and then some documentation for next time you're in the bathroom. These little silicone pieces called air fitting cushions. Supposedly, they're to tighten up the fit for people with smaller ears, and as someone with smaller ears, I sort of appreciate it. No charging cable though, but that's to be expected. On the carrying case itself, there is a pairing button next to the USB-C port. Thanks, Sony, for keeping this. An actual button just makes life easier and more intuitive to use. The only downside so far is that they're telling me to download an app as the first step. Yeah, no, I'll do without. So I tried pairing it straight to my phone, which would have worked great, but pressing the pair button did nothing. After floundering out for a bit, I caved and I downloaded the app. Turns out I had to open the lid and hold the pairing button at the same time. The app probably does add in a lot of functionality, but let's get into the good stuff. How these bad boys sound. That's why we're here. Ah, yes. Now for the moment of truth. Except it wasn't as easy as putting them in your ears and pressing play. I mean, how do you even put these on? They've got two solid pieces with a bendable piece in between. It can spread apart quite a bit and it bounces back into place easily. The small side has the speakers that go on the front of your ears, while the big side has the batteries and the charging pins. That side goes into the back. Now it took me a bit of finagling to clip these around my ears the first couple of times. Nothing pokes into your ears and they really just, they dangle there. After a couple times, you get pretty good at putting them in with just one hand. Look at that. No hands. And at first you think they'll just fall off, but after a ton of head shaking and nodding up and down, they stayed. I even tried jumping up and down. They also stayed. I did the most intense things I could come up with. Burpees, and they stayed. I'll have to test them with a real run later on, but for now, not bad. While these new earbuds from Sony are great, I want to share with you an awesome product I found at CES from today's sponsor, Epplemaker, a special keyboard called the Epplemaker RT100 Pro. Well, what makes it so special, you may be wondering? Beyond the stylish retro design and being super easy to pick up if you like full-size keyboards, it also has a screen and a knob. Now I know what you're thinking. Screens and knobs, that's nothing new. too. But wait, for starters, what if I told you the screen was completely optional? You can remove it and swap it in with normal keys. The knob is also interesting because instead of being smushed into the keys and taking up a bunch of precious keyboard real estate, it's tastefully side mounted to the keyboard. This makes it easy to adjust the volume without losing any extra keys. The RT100 Pro also comes with all the other stuff you really want out of a mechanical keyboard, like a gasket mount for a soft and luxurious typing experience, along with a nice sound that's a mix of thocky and creamy. One other thing that usually bothers me about this size of keyboard is that they typically have a small 0 on the numpad, but not this one. It's rocking a full, thick 0. Speaking of layout, I also like how the keys are slightly spaced to reduce errors. The arrow keys have a small gap, same with the nav cluster and the numpad. Why isn't every 96% layout designed like this? Apple makers really brought out the big guns with this one. So if you want to upgrade your typing experience, check out the Apple Maker RT100 Pro in the description below. The biggest problem I have with earbuds, and many others, is that they tend to slide out after a while. This might be TMI, but I've got viscous earwax, which means it's like a slip and slide in there. And since these don't go in your ear at all, this problem is virtually impossible. Even as someone with glasses and earrings, LinkBuds don't bother me at all. They take completely different real estate on the ears in this weird middle ground. Another concern I had is that they'd look bulky, like weird earrings, but other people didn't say much about them at all. They did notice them though, but that might be because I picked out the green color instead of something more subtle like black or white. One of the things I don't like is that this bendy part sticks out from my ears quite a bit. Maybe it's because my ears are small, but I mean, that's a lot of extra space. I can put my whole finger in there. Now, looking at competitor products, there are more subtle designs that they could have modeled after. But then I had another big question. How comfortable are these to use daily? With AirPods, I could keep them in for maybe 30 minutes to an hour at most before they start getting uncomfortable or slowly slide out, and then you gotta reset, and then it's a whole thing. You're probably looking at these and thinking, wow, having something heavy like that dangle off your ears must be a real pain in the butt. And although they look that way, they're a mere 6 grams a piece, maybe even less. So each one of these weigh the same as about a sheet of paper. I've been able to keep these on for an entire workday without discomfort. That's because they don't violate your ear canals at all, but they also don't compress on your head either. It's just being held there by some friction and gravity. Now, everybody in the office so far has deemed them quite comfortable to use, despite us all having different ear sizes. Throughout day after day of wearing them, I was reminded about how I actually do enjoy listening to music. Now, because we have an open office space with a small team, I don't put in earbuds or headphones in case someone wants to talk to me, which is often. So music has been on the back burner. Heck, even YouTube videos. With these, I keep them on all day, and when someone talks to me, I pause it. And when the conversation is done, I press play again. It's significantly changed my entire listening experience. But speaking of comfort, what about the gym? They clearly can withstand a regular work day, a normal day even without work. So I made sure to take these on a gym day where I did some vigorous activity. Who am I kidding? I don't do anything vigorous. So I took them on a run and did some exercises I don't usually do, like jumping jacks, box jumps, high intensity stuff. They stayed in well, but I found a huge weakness of these earbuds. Loud ambient sounds. I heard everything at the gym. People lifting weights, treadmills getting stomped on repeatedly, and people moaning while lifting weights. Because they're open earbuds, there's nothing blocking the outside from entering your ears. And just to be clear, there is no ANC, no noise canceling. That's physically impossible with open earbuds unless some new great technology comes out in the distant future. Unfortunately, that means they can't be your only pair of earbuds that you own. They don't do good on a plane. They don't do good at the gym. But is that something people look for? Earbuds that can do it all? Or is it more like watches, where you have one watch for the gym, one for daily use, one for fancy dinners? Or is that just blatant consumerism? The world may never know. Anyways, for the actual moment of truth, music. I quickly opened up YouTube Music. Yes, I use YouTube Music. Fight me. It's included in YouTube Premium. Why not? I opened up a random playlist. Apparently I got dance hits. Nice. So there are a couple things that were shocking. First, there was bass? Most open earbuds, because of the lack of a seal, can't handle bass very well. But this definitely had a kick to it. I'd be curious to see a graph of its sound signature, but alas, I don't know how to do measurements. Even the volume was fairly impressive. For a regular quiet room, I stayed between 25 to 30% of the max volume, and at the gym, I'd go up to 50%. If anything, they actually had a slightly weaker treble, where female voices like Adele or Taylor Swift wouldn't be as pronounced. But this was in standard mode. The app has two other modes, one called Voice Boost, which instantly made the vocals shine, but it also just made everything louder, so of course I could hear it better. And the last one is Sound Leakage Reduction. And that one appears to just turn the volume down a bunch, so I'm not sure why they call it those. So if you're listening to something real embarrassing, I guess that mode could be helpful. But honestly, you have to be playing something real obnoxious at a high volume for someone near you to even know what you're listening to. So while we're in the software, there's some more pretty cool stuff to explore. The first is the equalizer. There's a bunch of presets. You've got heavy for more bass, clear for more treble, hard for both. There's soft that reduces the bass and the treble, and then 3 custom presets that you can tune to your liking. There's a lot of customization here. You get a lot of areas you can slide up and down. For now, I'll stick to off for the intended listening experience. But when open earbuds first came out, I thought they'd be similar to open headphones, where you feel surrounded by the music, or it's in the same room as you with an open soundstage. But with the LinkBuds Clip, it's sort of nothing like that. You hear it, but it's not a one-person concert. It's more like a tiny speaker next to your ear that's directing sound into it. While that seems unimpressive, the sound is pretty good. It's not hi-fi good, not IEM good, where you can hear and distinguish every single instrument from each other, but that's not really the goal. In fact, as I wrote this, I was listening to myself type, others in the office type, and music. So of course, the music isn't the #1 priority. The goal is to have good enough sound quality while being comfortable and open. But let's circle back to software, because there's a lot of quality of life improvements here that I think you'd love. There's this ability to connect to 2 devices simultaneously. This isn't new. I've seen this before in the Nothing Ear Opens, but this feels a lot more seamless. When I pause something on my iPhone, start it on my MacBook, it's an automatic switch. I don't have to do anything. Where it falls apart is if you're trying to play 2 things on 2 different devices, then it sort of just defaults to the thing that played first. While exploring all the settings, I found an interesting one. An option that lets you prioritize either sound quality or connection stability. You might be thinking, why not prioritize sound quality? I thought the same. So I pressed it right away, only to find myself ripping out my earbuds and throwing them across the room. It got really loud all of a sudden, and I assure you, you would panic too. So let's just say I like a good stable Bluetooth connection. Onto the controls, they use a tap function, so you can press on the band or the pill that sits behind your ear. The taps start at 2 and go up to 4. But the strange thing is, you can't edit sound control to anything else on the 4 tabs. So that means to lower the volume, you tap the left buds 4 times, and to raise the volume, you tap the right bud 4 times. Why? It's probably the most common function I would use, and it only goes 1 step or down for each command. So in theory, you could sit there quadruple tapping your earbuds a ton of times to get it to your desired volume. Why have you forsaken us? It ended up being very annoying, and I would go into my device to change my volume rather than just mess with tapping. On the bright side, you can edit the other functions to control pause play, previous next song, as well as the listening mode. But there's one more thing that if these earbuds don't do well, then none of the other things matter, and that's battery life. I'll test this by starting the day with everything charged at 100%, wear them all day, and by the end, give you an update. Supposedly, each side lasts 9 hours, which is more than enough for a full day, and if you add in the case battery, you can get up to 28 more listening hours. For reference, the AirPods Pro 3s have 8 hours plus 24 hours with ANC enabled. Not really a fair comparison since AirPods use more energy to run, but here's what they are at the end of the day. Not bad, huh? Now, even with all the problems these earbuds have solved, there's a couple huge issues I have with these, and the first is that they're easy to lose. Despite the fact that these stay on really good, I've accidentally flung them in the air while taking off a hoodie, or when I forget that I have them on. I've also dropped the case accidentally and saw one of the earbuds bounce its way under the bed. Sure, other true wireless earbuds get lost all the time, but they have features that help you find them. And after scouring the app for 30 minutes, I couldn't find a Find My Earbud feature anywhere. You might be thinking, oh well, Betty, I never lose my earbuds. Good for you. too. This happens often to other people. Not you, probably. The other day I woke up to a random AirPod on the other side of the bed in a hotel room that I was checking out that current morning. If not for my Find My Earbuds feature, I might have permanently lost a right earbud. That's a fat Benjamin right there. So Sony, if you're listening, please add in this feature. It will save your customers a lot of anxiety, frustration, and time. The second problem is no wireless charging. Since it's a premium product, I'd like to see premium features like having them pause if you take one side off. And the last, the biggest one of all, might be the hefty price tag at $230. I'm real curious to see how the more budget options compare. So should you get these? If you're someone who hates things violating your ear canals, these types of earbuds are perfect. They don't touch the inside of your ears at all, and you don't experience the same issues like falling out, tickling your ear, or losing their seal, because there is none. If you always want to be approachable or be aware of your surroundings, they're great. You don't necessarily need to buy the Sony ones. There are more budget options out there and I really want to explore them, but let me know what you think. I wish I discovered these sooner because I've struggled with my AirPods for so long.